So in part one, I showed you some of the inspiration for my Galentine's Day sip and paint and some of the different things that I will be using for my sip and paint. So over here in part two, we're going to start doing like some of the backdrops and tying together some of the crepe paper to do the backdrops, whether it's for this wall as well as for the window. So I started out with the purple tablecloth and I hung it on my wall there. And once I got it up there and I started looking at the colors that I was going to be using, you'll see that I actually ended up changing the backdrop color there. So I'm just measuring out some yarn and then the crepe paper so I can see how long they should hang from the wall. And then I just started to roll the crepe paper out and tear it. Had a little system going on that worked really well for me. Then I just tied them in bunches onto the yarn. Once I really got my system going with the crepe paper, it took me like maybe 3 to 5 minutes to tear the rolls into the length that I wanted. It just took a little finesse and just kind of keeping that roll steady and tearing and placing the next one behind the other and just keeping that roll steady so it doesn't twist and turn. The most tedious part of this was kind of rolling out and tearing the streamers because it was just such a repetitive type of process. But like I said, it only took me like a good 5 minutes once I really started going. And then doing the balloons also was pretty tedious because I did not have the balloon machine, which would have made it easier to tie off two balloons together and to then do your clusters. But I just made it work with what I had. So when coming up with the ideas for the decorations, I definitely relied on Google and YouTube and Instagram for different ideas and kind of making those ideas into what I wanted to have for my sip and paint. Even trying to find ideas about like the flowers and stuff like that. Even though my flower was right there, looked a little scarce, I end up purchasing another set of flowers. Here I am just blowing up the balloons and watching America's Next Top Model documentary. And all I have to say about that is, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we sat through an era and this was happening on reality TV.